Welcome to Heroes Rising, hosted by Sifu Rafael, a master instructor, public speaker, and the founder of Speaking Prowess. Known for his expertise in empowering individuals through the art of communication and leadership. Alongside him is co-host Jose Escobar, an acclaimed personal development speaker, 18-time published author, and founder of 2 thriving businesses, including the Connected Leaders Academy. Together, they bring you dynamic conversations with world-class entrepreneurs, industry icons, and visionaries. Heroes Rising is your go-to source for wisdom, motivation, and unstoppable growth. Join us and discover the hero within you.
Jaclyn, happy Friday. How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you doing today, Sifu?
Exceptional and getting better every day.
I
know you're not Jose, but thank you so much for stepping in.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I know, big shoes to fill.
Well, I would never want to fit in his shoes either. I am excited for today because we're having a great conversation with 2 incredible human beings. The leadership, think about that, relationships, and the power of leap. Wow. So let's bring them on. Andre, thank you for being here. Raquel, thank you for being here. You guys, powerhouses. I'm excited for today.
Pleasure. Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much for the invitation.
Hey, listen, I would never invite you if I didn't think that you can hold your own. Thank you for being here.
For me, it's this Sifu ask, I'm here.
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
That's it. No brainer.
Right. You get that text message from Sifu and you're like, oh,
Yep,
you know
got
it.
Yep. On. It's true.
Exactly. Forgive my voice. I'm just getting over that cooties that was going around the last couple of weeks.
You say the cooties?
Cooties.
I want to say it's kind of cool. It's pretty sexy. Just say.
Yeah, you can record a lot of things like, whenever you have that that raspiness, it's like, hey, right?
Totally.
That's
Yeah,
leadership
I'm also a
right
singer,
there.
so
You're going to
sometimes
lead
I
with that voice.
sing the blues.
So let's go ahead and dive right in. Let's talk about leadership for a little bit, if you can. I love anybody who wants to take it.
Whew. For me, in my world, it's interesting. This past year, my clients are typically, entrepreneur women, and some couples, and then one guy. Once in a while, one guy. And this year, the whole thing flipped over. I have all men, a few couples, and 2 women, which is very interesting. And I'm watching the culture, what's happening in the world, and everyone's struggling. I get it, but it seems that men in this culture that have been feminized by the system, let's just say it, are struggling to find their mojo. They're struggling to find their leadership skills. So they're coming at me with, how do I compete in the world? How do I be relevant? How do I find myself? Why am I here to do? Which is a very common one. So they're looking for leadership guidance. Often they've never had it it wasn't built into their lives, right? No father, weak father kind of thing. But the struggle is real and palatable, and they're coming, which is very interesting. So part of the work is really, leadership is empowering for both men and women. I think on some level, men take it, how do I say this? The lack of leadership in men is more detrimental to them long term, I believe. Does that make sense?
It does. It's very interesting when you talked about maybe the man didn't have a father figure, but I've known so many women who have played a father figure to so many men, and they, right, and so you're playing one now, right, Raquel? And when we think about so many men, so many times, they don't give credit to my dad, they give credit to their mom.
Yep.
Because their mom was the powerhouse of their household, and they lead their lives based on the decisions that their mothers made because they were solid. They were single moms. They had 3 or 4 or 5 kids, or even 8 kids, and they did 3, 4 different jobs, and they kept the family unit together, even though if there was an absentee dad or a dad who was an alcoholic or whatever it is. But so many women are there doing 2 roles. But in contrast to that, I've known so many men whose women disappeared and left them with their kids. I know a man who had 3 boys, and his wife just left. And this man had to become a mom and a dad to these kids. And it wasn't, he could never replace their mom, just like a woman cannot replace the kid's dad. Somebody can come in and be a dad to their kids, but it's not their dad, right? So there's this whole dynamic of who needs leadership. I think we all need leadership.
Amen.
And it stems from where our upbringing came from. And I thank you for sharing that, because I think it's how we handle every situation, and every situation calls for a different set of eyes, if you will.
Yeah. You know, I have to share with this because as you're talking, one of the things that, come in, each and every one of us is a leader, and each and every one of us has the ability to empower other people. But I think we sometimes all forget that we are all individual leaders, and that it all starts with leading ourselves, and we have these great influences, but how do you take that and own it for yourself? Because it's like telling everybody, like, everyone's a salesperson, whether you like it or not, you're a salesperson, but also everybody's a leader. And we have a choice to make every day when we get up. We can be positive, we can be negative. You choose. It's a choice. And you can be the person that can cheerlead and be the person to lift other people up, or you can be the person who's the negative, person. These are all choices. We have to make those decisions. And I think we forget that each and every one of us is that leader, and that we have that choice. And it starts with you and how you want to show up.
Oh yeah. What are your thoughts, Rick?
Yes, and it's also recognizing only because we can doesn't mean we should.
Right.
That only because we can doesn't mean we should. I'm a single mom. My husband died when he in 2020, and so I was already kind of leading the family already before that, for most of the marriage, especially when the children started to be born. I have three, and so when he passed away in 2020, then it really became forefront of me doing both roles for them. But I recognize that, there's only so much I can do for my 2 boys. So I purposely looked for places for them to be around healthy, strong, dynamic men. And so it was when I was looking, like, for instance, for church, for us, it was really important for me to find somewhere where Aunt Angela, my daughter, the oldest, can be around healthy, dynamic, strong women of faith. But it was also important for my 2 boys, because they were so young, to be around men who were faith-driven, who loved their wives, who loved their children, who loved God, and were really, strong, masculine men. And so then I was able, fortunately, to find a place like that where we all get what we needed. But I recognize, there's only so much I can do. I am not a man. And as much as, I do have male clients, and I know how the brain works, and there are things that are similar, we are equal but different. And so when you're even in leadership, and we're managing people, understanding that people have different giftings, they have different wiring, they have different motivations, even from a female to a male, what they desire and what they need. And I was talking to the client, and he was just like, they say I'm needy. I'm like, well, everybody's needy. If when you get what you need, then you feel safe, then you feel secure, you feel empowered. So it's because they're not willing to meet that need, or they have a different frame lens around that need. I said, but this is why it's so important for you to understand. Only because you can doesn't mean you should, and only because you can work it out. Yes, we're leaders, especially we're entrepreneurs. We have the strength and the art of the pivot. We know how to pivot so well. But then it's like, okay, let's create some beautiful atmospheres for people to thrive. And speaking as a single mom with 2 sons, it's really important for me to always check to make sure they're around strong, faith-driven men, masculine men who are unashamed of their masculinity, because they need that. And I can only do so much for them.
Yeah, but you're a strong mom, I got to tell you. So they're going to see all the things that you're doing, and it's going to help them understand that, you know what? I think that a lot of boys who grow up with a single mom, I may be wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway, probably respect women more because they see what their mom went through in order to provide for them. And they'll respect that when they see another woman. And they'll think of their mom. So kudos to you and all single moms. And it's not the ideal situation that every mom wants. But if they're in that situation, they always make the best of it, right?
Can I add?
Of course.
So I do a lot of men's work, a lot of mentoring men's work, mentoring men, like I talked about earlier. And they have the situation where the wife left, and often takes the kids. Anyway, and one of the things that happens to the children, the boys, especially the boys of men who are having to go for whatever reason, the boys, the moment he walks out the door, their confidence is out the window with him. They don't know how to be in the world. They don't have a role model, right? And so mom takes over. Mom is protective. Mom becomes mama bear. Mama bear overprotects often, right? Overprotects. Little Tommy doesn't like that. You know what I mean? And overprotects the kid when a boy has to find his mojo by literally the challenge of life, which is typically what the father does. Yeah, get up. You'll be all right. Right. So there's the protecting, this motherly, and there's also the fine tuning of falling into his masculinity, have a role model. So these boys, so Raquel, beautiful, right? And I understand, if I may, because I don't know, if you have them in the group settings around men, but I would even up it if it's possible, like put him in anything, any team sport, any team, whatever, where there's a male mentor, role model, like one. You know what I mean? As a coach, whether it's like a singing coach or a football coach, right, or writing coach, but a masculine essence, that because there needs to be a one-on-one bond, what doesn't happen in a group typically. I'm just saying. And these are the kids, the young men without fathers, who actually manage to understand accountability, honor, drive, appropriate use of masculine energy and force, right? Appropriate use of force, devoted masculinity, right? And honor, that these have to be cultivated in young men by good men. So whichever way, throw men in the cocktail, and you can't overdo it.
Well said.
Agreed. And what was coming to mind is like this thing about like labels, right? So sometimes a lot of women will say toxic masculinity, and there is no such thing as toxic masculinity. There's masculinity, and then there are children.
Yep, I call them boys. They're a man.
They're boys in a man body. There is no labels that we have toward other people, because we're never going to get what we speak against. So sometimes, people who are in leadership, they'll speak against other leaders, or they'll speak, they'll say some derogatory things about maybe a certain people group. But we have to be so mindful, because we are living our beliefs all the time. And what is the belief that we want to install into other people? What is the belief that we want them to grab? Those thoughts that we're sharing, that we want them to run with, so that the world can be better. And so, like, even like for women who are, you can't be looking for a mate and then also calling men toxic. Like, if that's your flavor. You can't have both things. So as leaders, we have to be really mindful of the labels that we're giving ourselves and the labels that we're giving other people, because that it ripples. Our words, they're going to be filled with life, or they're going to start a destruction sequence. And we get to be life givers, all of us as leaders. Like you said, we're all leadership. Every day we get to choose what are those words that we're going to release into this world that's going to speak life, empowerment, truth, grace, mercy, love. And sometimes it's tough love. Like, we might have to kick you in the butt a little bit and be like, what are you doing? That's leadership too, is not being afraid to confront someone. But part of the leadership, like you were saying, is connection, Andre, right? It's like, we have to connect with people. They need to know that we love them, and that what we're saying, even if it's tough, even if it sounds harsh, it's really coming from a place of, I love you and I'm seeing this. And because we're in connection, I want to give you some correction. There's not part of love is correction.
Raquel, what you just said I think it's so powerful. And I mean, obviously it speaks so much, no pun intended, to what Sifu talks about, but it's, we need to always be able to leverage communication, and part of leveraging communication is also acknowledging and sharing with the person the why you're saying the words and how you say it. As you just said, it's like, a little bit of the tough love, but you have to tell them why you're giving it to, like, and you have to let them know that you love them, and you have to let them know, hey, this is a little bit of tough love because, but we need to be able to communicate. As you just said, our words matter so much, and how we say things it's so important, because you could say one thing and somebody takes it another way. Like, you have to really be careful of that. And that, to me, I think is also one of the biggest things about leadership, is that we're always learning about the words that we use and how we can use them to our advantage. And a good leader will communicate, and is always learning to be able to be a better communicator. And it starts with that, words.
When you talked about calling them kids or men or boys or whatever, just don't call me a man. Okay, I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Because you're what I call a hybrid. You're kind of a mixture of all the good facets of it.
Well, because I like to have fun, and I don't ever want to do adulting anyway.
Right.
Adulting is not the right thing for me, because life is so incredibly beautiful that we think business is everything, and we have to chase the money, but then we're not living.
Right.
So,
right.
For me, it's about living and enjoying and impacting. That's what my life.
You just muted.
You just muted yourself. Oops.
You muted again. You're hiding your words.
Don't tell anybody. I'm just saying. Maybe I did it on purpose. No, I said, it's so important for me to live my life in a certain way, because the impact that I have on others is because of the impact I've had that's been shared with me. So every time I have a conversation with another person, it impacts me. Mm-hmm. Jaclyn, you and I have had some conversations. I'm like, wow, I'm so blessed that we're together in this universe, right? And same thing with Raquel and Andre. You guys are these powerful beings that I am just so blessed to be around. And Daniel said, "Good afternoon, winners." And he wasn't just talking to one of us, he's talking to all of us. And Daniel is going to be with us in Tampa. And can I tell you, Tampa is going to be Powerful. I'm going to share a video with you guys if you guys are okay with that. And Gabby, you should come to Tampa with us. And
Gabby,
I know that Andre, you're on the other side of Tampa, but you should make it over.
I can make it.
Hey, I'm coming from Reno. You can do it.
That's right.
No, hey, it's just a plane ride. Big deal.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Take a look. You're going to want to, after you watch this video, you're going to want to come join us.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event. It's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds. A movement of momentum. Sifu Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC Experience Mastermind. Light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC Experience Mastermind, where purpose is found.
Woohoo! They're coming from the west. That's Andre.
A lot of very familiar faces in that. I love it. Nice stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait. So I just actually
You
want
have to come. It is so fun.
We had such a great time.
Yeah, I just wrote the dates down.
But
I'll reach out to you.
That Sifu, when you were just talking about that wanting to live and have fun, and that I just want to bring this up because I was I did a podcast the other day, and I actually was kind of coaching people in it. And one of the things, have you guys done the Wheel of Life or Circle of Life, with the 8 different segments? Most people usually have, but it was one of the things that we did. And one of the women that was participating said she was so surprised that the fun and enjoyment was so low, and on her wheel. And I feel like I want to tear up because it was like, she's like, I didn't realize how she's like, it hit me when I'm doing this. She's like, I'm thinking I'm having fun, but then I actually sat and was like, maybe I'm not having as much fun. And it's so important, that we, part of that whole leadership. I think about living in New York City when I first got to my first job. And it was like, it was the grind. It was like, you were praised for the grind. We weren't living. We were just, it was like, you got a reward. Like, who could work the most hours? I mean, seriously? Come on. And so it was just so amazing to have her have that shift and see, I'm going to make fun and adventure and living really a bigger goal or outcome for 2026 and for beyond.
I got to tell you, I have fun no matter what I'm doing. I could be cleaning a toilet. I am happy. I put some music on. I could be sweeping. And people are like, what's with you? What? And so a lot of people say to me, what drugs are you taking? And so I'm very honest. I tell them exactly what drugs I'm taking. It's called life. It's called life. That's my biggest drug. And I'm addicted to it. It's the biggest addiction I have, and it's called life. And they're like, where can I get it? I said, open your eyes. It's right there. And if you want, I could be your dealer. I'll show you how to live life and have some fun doing it.
Nice. And I think in the end, it's funny. I had a conversation with one of my men yesterday, and he's, 3 kids. His boy's 13 years old. He works 70 hours a week. That's all he does. And I'm like, what are you on? Like, that's not okay. I mean, and he's got this neurotic need to prove himself, right? It started when he's a kid. Like, he was less than. So at 10 years old, he's like, I'm going to be one of those guys. So he works like a fool. He makes a lot of money, I says, where's the balance? All you do is work, right? And I trip on him once in a while, randomly. He works 16-hour days. He's always on his phone. He's in the car on his phone. Like, and I go, that's beautiful. You have money. How much do you need? How much do you need? By the way, how much to stop, right? And I go, and back to the conversation with Raquel, I go, your 13-year-old son freaking needs you more now than when he was younger. He needs his father. He needs a role model. He needs to see you work, right? You can take him with you to work, because it's interesting in the new generation, the young men not able to see their fathers work because we leave the house, actually are very mistrusting of masculinity that way. It's very interesting. So young men need to see us in action, producing, conquering, competing in the world appropriately. And that gives them the sense of, oh, that's how it works. But if they don't see it, they don't understand it, and also often mistrust masculine leadership that they haven't grasped onto. So I'm telling to him, I'm like, look at my eyes. Your son needs you now more than ever. The daughters as well, they're too younger. But the role modeling that he needs is you right now, as the two little girls get to feel safe in the environment where dad is providing, protecting. So again, the balance. So I get him thinking, and now he's going to the gym 3 times a week. Oh, there's a little bit of balance and pulling back. But anyway, but again, we talk about psychology of why we're the way we are because of our past, right? We make decisions about ourselves, like people, the world, and if it's balanced, it doesn't line up with a good quality of life. You, Sifu, figured it out. A lot of the rest of people, us, often have to walk our way through it.
Well, I think your client is an underachiever because there's 168 hours in a week and he's only working 70. He's got 14 more to go to be half balanced. I'm just kidding, right?
I know,
but you're right. So it's about finding, is it the money or is it the impact, right? Because he's not impacting his kids if he's not around them at all, right? So when many moons ago, I decided to leave corporate when I knew that my son was going to be born. Actually, I did that before my son was going to be born, but I was only working 2 days a week. And I don't know if that was work because I had fun while I was doing it. And I told the lady that I stepped in, I reshaped her company, the whole deal. For 2 days a week, I did more than most people did at her company. And so when I said to her, I'm leaving, her world was collapsing. And she goes, I'll give you whatever you want. I gave her a crazy number. I said, for the 2 days, you got to pay me what you pay in a month. She said, okay. I was like, oh man, I said too little. So I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I said, the reason I love what I do for you, I said, but my son is being born. And I'm living my life so I can be with him. I said, I don't need this job. I said, I love you. You're an incredible human being. So I said, what I'll do is I'll do this for 3 more months until he's actually born. And then I'm going to walk away. I will train anybody you want. Anybody, anytime. It wound up that she never got anybody because she thought she was going to convince me. She actually threw me more money than I even asked for. And I was like, this is crazy. So I finally said goodbye. And then she's calling me. Please. I'm like, nope. My decision's made. It wasn't the money that made me say, oh, I got to go back. She's throwing me way too much money. So what I said to her is, listen, if you need me here and there, I'll come in. But don't expect me to stay. I used to only work 6 hours when I did anyway. It was 2 days a week for 6 hours. And I said, if I come, it might be like 3 to 4 hours. And I said, but it's not going to be every week. It's going to be once in a blue. I'll set everything up for you. And so that happened a couple of times, and eventually we parted ways. But the most important thing was I was there for my son, who's now one of my coaches in my program, Sifu's Mind Body Method. And I was there for him. And that to me was the most important decision I made. Because if it was the money, my son wouldn't have seen me.
And the role modeling that he needs to grow up into a devoted, masculine being, right? Using his strength as his capacity and capabilities, modeling you. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to show off a little bit, I did a similar thing. You know that I used to be a professional dancer. Michael Jackson, Prince, Paula Abdul, 2 years, and so on. So I was on the road about 15 years, and my wife's a ballerina. So we're both like traveling the world. And when we started a family, the first thing I did is quit. I called my agent. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not leaving town. If it's not in, the work's not in Los Angeles, I'm not taking it. She went a little bit crazy. And I'm like, my son is about to be born. And because I didn't have the role modeling as a young kid, my dad was completely absent and really whatever. I was going to be exact opposite. I was going to be there for them, right? Because we have two, a boy and a girl, right? I opened a car shop in Los Angeles just so I would stay grounded. I was not going to Mexico. I am not going to Japan. I am not going. No, right? But what happened is this. I'm really proud of this. The business was 6 minutes from my house, and the kids' school was 2 blocks away. So both my wife and I would every recital, every parade, every Christmas, whatever, right? Both of us in the audience, right? From the moment they were little on. And
it's beautiful.
That was to me worth, changing gear in life. I call it phase 1 of my life. I was a professional dancer. Phase 2, I became a business owner and a father. Phase 3, you're looking at it right now, relationship coaching. So,
yeah. So you talk about relationship coach. Let's talk about relationships. You just kind of did, and I kind of did. So, ladies, let's hear it.
Relationships are. I mean, I could talk all day about relationships because it's. They're so important, and I think that it's actually, when we actually learn how to actually build relationships, which actually requires the communication, it's not transactional. We're building relationships to make deeper connections with people, and we step away from the idea of what's in it for me and what's in it, and take the idea of what's in it for them, and how can we do something maybe together, or how can we, what is this conversation like? What if I can take this conversation and help somebody else? Or if I can help this person meet X person. It's not about me, it's about them. And we take and we build the relationship, and we get to know them, we get to like them, and we trust them. And that's obviously, people know, like, and trust. But it has to be with relationships that are built on a connection, not on a transaction. And I think so many people get into the, okay, I'm going to meet you. Okay. All right. Sifu. Hi, my name is Jaclyn Strominger, and this is my business. And what do you do? Oh, no. All right, fine. Bye. Okay. Let me take the next person. And then I'm going to go and collect 1,001 business cards, or I'm just going to shake a bunch of hands. Oh, I met so many people. Well, who did you actually really meet? And who did you know? And who did you spend time with? And what are they going to remember about you? And how did you show up for them? It's so important to think of the quality over quantity, and to make good relationships so that we can, again, not be transactional, but be helpful.
My first thought was, did they actually meet you?
Right.
That? Do you know what I mean? As opposed to the promotion, the professional, do they really meet you? And quality over quantity. Nicely said.
Yeah. Thanks.
I can tell you, I think it was early last year. Somebody asked me for my business card. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't carry those. You don't have a business card? How do you do business? I said, let me teach you. We took a selfie.
Mm-hmm.
We had a conversation. And then I reached out to them that week. And they're like, now I see how you do business. You actually engage. You don't just take a business card and walk away. I said, because, and I said, and they insisted on giving me their business card. I said, okay, thank you. But usually, what do we do with business cards? I come home with a stack, throw them away. So I will take your business card. Please give it to me. But then give me a second, because we're going to take a picture, because you're going to forget what I look like. I'm going to forget what you look like, because there's 500 people here. And I didn't just come to meet one person at an event. If I'm in a theater and I meet somebody, yes, I will be meeting that one person. If I'm at a restaurant with other people and I come and I meet you, yes, I met you. I know the other people. But if I'm at an event and I don't know anybody, my goal is to meet as many as I can, but to make the connections that will last. Not the ones that are going to be like, oh, look, I have a stack of cards. So we could play a game of, how many cards did you get today? It's almost like when we were kids. How many phone numbers did you get tonight? Right? At the club.
I got digits. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's the connections have to be strong.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't build a strong connection with one meeting.
No.
One virtual coffee. And for anybody out there who's doing virtual coffee, stop selling on your virtual coffees, because I have so many people reaching out to me and saying, oh my God, I just had the most horrible, I've had literally in the last 10 days of the year and the first 10 days of this year, I've had 30 different people reach out to me and say, Sifu, I just had it's not just one person. I'm multiple people saying, I just had the worst virtual coffee. Right?
I was one of them.
Yes, thank you, Jaclyn.
I was one of those people that actually said, oh my God, had the worst coffee connect. They need to take my relationship capital class, because they threw up all over me. It was like 30 minutes of throw up. Sorry, not to whatever.
No, but it's the truth. So so everybody out there, just please do yourself a favor. You'll do more business if you connect with people than if you just start throwing your stuff out there, right? Listen, you could throw spaghetti at the wall, some will stick. But then that spaghetti is going to be, don't throw spaghetti at the wall.
The way I put it is, how can I help you?
Yeah.
That's how I show up, as opposed to what can you do for me? And that's I think the beginning of a connection, much more than this is what I got. You want to buy it?
I love hearing about people's businesses, but whether they like it or not, I'm like,
well, I was thinking about too with.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I love hearing.
I was thinking earlier.
Yeah.
I think you may be a little delayed, Raquel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your turn, Raquel. We're going to wait.
Oh, sorry today. What I wanted to say and share was that what Andre was talking about earlier with, the father taking the son to work. It's because men bond through vasopressin, right? So our brain is either a medicine man or a drug dealer, and we can hack it to make us feel whatever we want to feel. We can bond different ways. When we understand that, then men bond through vasopressin, which means that they're bonding through activity. They're bonding by doing something. So then if you want to bond with a man, go do something with him or allow him to do things for you.
Ta-da.
Women bond through oxytocin, right? So there's more of the cuddling thing. It's different. So when you start learning, and you don't need to learn a lot, but learning like those kind of things, if you want to bond with somebody, if you want to build with someone, then this is part of loving someone before they even show up. You know, how is it that men bond differently than women? How do women bond with each other? How do they bond with other people? What is the easiest, to me, the easiest system to recognize somebody in their dominant personality is a disc model, which I think I love it just because the guy who invented it also created Wonder Woman. And I'm Latina. My first Wonder Woman was Linda Carter, who's have Mexican face. So it's just like, yes, I'm a big proponent. But when you're like recognizing what energy they're in, then you can mirror them, you can talk to them, you can ask them the right questions to have them open up. I'm an ambivert, but I know a lot of people who are introverts. And they're like, oh, introverts are so quiet. I'm like, I don't know one introvert that's quiet. Oh my gosh, you asked the right question. It's like, boom. You can find out anything. It's like, oh, that person never talks. I'm like, oh my gosh, around me, they're a chatterbox. But it's because, right, you're creating the environment where they can be themselves and you ask the right questions and you're interested in them. When I started entrepreneurship, I started very, very part-time. I started just because I wanted to get out of the house. I was a new mom. I was working a full-time job. Angie was 6 years old, and I was like, right, a worker, a wife, or a mom. I had like completely lost who I was. And I was invited to a spa thing at a friend's house. And that's how I ended up. I sold for her $600 worth of Mary Kay just because I was bored. I was like, can I play with your face? But that was one of the lessons from Mary Kay is that and that's her legacy, is that she always made people feel like they were the only person in the room. She would be so locked into the conversation and who that person was that people were just like, they're still enamored with her even though she's gone. And I still carry on that legacy. And I was fortunate enough that's how I started my entrepreneurship. It's like really locking in to the person, or they just, they might just like you, one of my clients, she sent me a whole bunch of things. I write music for those of you who don't know, but she sent me, I love books and journals. She sent me something called band names. And I love papers and journals, but you know what this is? This is my physical referral book. So now I have everybody here that I love alphabetized. So instead of a Rolodex, I have something that's unique to me because I want to refer the people that I meet. I have them also on my phone, but people do so many different things. And then I'm like, oh wait, who does what? Again, it's like locking in. How are you going to, if your intention is to meet people and to connect, then you on it and also be a good referral partner. Like if you want, it's like this, it's just always this reciprocity out there. If you want people to refer you, then you also become a good referral partner. What are you doing to make sure you have everybody's names in the right place where you can remember, where you can refer them, where you can actually go and see what they're doing and be like, yeah, I'm comfortable enough referring my network to this person because they're not a wackadoodle. I'm comfortable enough sending them there because I know they're not going to, mess them up. So there's like all these nuances, but you don't need actually to learn a lot. You just have to learn a little bit. And again, loving them. One of my sales coaches, that's what she says. You love them before they come. And so how is it that you can love people before they enter your space? And one of them is just taking 5 minutes a day to learn something new about how to connect, different kinds of personalities. Everybody's motivated differently. And then speaking to those motivations and really amplifying that and edifying that exactly where they are.
Love that. Love that. I think to become a connector is it actually builds your net worth if you know how to do it right. So what I'd like to do at this moment is share with you that we're all part of an incredible group, and let's talk about it. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JASCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
And so we're part of Connected Leaders Academy. And when we think about even the way we all connected, right? It's because of other people introducing us, right? The way I met Raquel, the way I met Jaclyn was not through Connected Leaders Academy. We met differently, right? The way I met Andre. And every time we've had a connection, I never remember you guys telling me anything. What's wrong with you?
What
So,
can I do for you?
you know, it's building the relationships first, because think about it. I think the next part of this conversation should be the power to leap. And I know that Jaclyn has the leap to your success, right? But when you think of, there's a difference between a leap and a jump, right? So you just said, Jaclyn, I want to know more about that. So let's go, girl.
Well, jumping, like anybody can jump, but taking a leap, there's a little bit of a wind up there, right? And you have to get some, you have to have some momentum, and you also have to, leaping is going forward. Jumping is, you might be just be going up, but leaping allows you to go up and over, right? You're going up and over something. And so, but in order to do that, you actually, again, you have to build up momentum to take that. And, it takes strength, it takes courage. And so there is a bit of a difference there. And that's one of the things, when you leap with your whole body too.
I love the saying of leap with your faith, right? So you have to be also, either you can jump up and down, right? But when you leap, you're leaving the same spot, because you can land in the same spot.
Yep.
But you can't do that when you leap.
Right.
You either leap forward or you leap backwards. Leaping backwards, you can have some injuries, right? Because you don't see where you're going. But when you leap forward, you see where you're going, and therefore you can aim towards where you're leaping. And I believe that a leap in the right direction is the best leap. Like, everybody should leap over to Tampa, just saying.
Yeah. To leap over to Tampa.
Leap over to Tampa. And Andre just said it's just a plane ride. What's the big deal, right? So, you know how many people say, oh, that's too far? I have people who would not come to the New York City experience because they live in Jersey.
No.
Yes, and that's the next state over. And so, but hey, you know what? Everybody needs to recognize their own potential. And sometimes they need that leap of faith to get to the next level. And sometimes people, it's almost like, think about this, right? And everybody knows the crab story or the fly story, when they're put into something and they keep hitting the ceiling. They stop jumping, they stop leaping, because they don't believe that they can break through, that they can get past. So you can take that lid off, they will never jump anymore, because they've been defeated by their past failures. And instead of seeing a failure as a stepping stone, they keep just seeing it as failure.
Stop.
So leap to your success, people. I'm sorry, I have to take that from you, Jaclyn. Leap to your success.
Yeah. But I also, as you're talking about that, it's also what you can do for each other person. So I'm sure you've all heard about the sea stars, right? Starfish, right? The boy who goes down to the ocean and he sees all these sea stars, and he starts pushing him back in the water. And a man on the bridge says, You can't save them all. He said, but I can save that one, right? So it's about helping. It's about the one and the ones that you can help. And you help that person take a leap and you help another person take a leap. But again, as you just said, leap in the right direction and to leap forward and to know that you've got people that are there to support you, that are lifting you up to do that.
What was coming to mind when Sifu was talking was, I always tell people the room rewires you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like the trajectory of your life, check the rooms that you're in. And this is why spaces like Connected Leaders Academy are so important, because we're all like heart-driven entrepreneurs. We have massive vision. We want to expand what we're doing. We're all like very similar in that vein, where we truly want to help each other, and we understand the compound effect. That when we band together, we're going to compound ourselves and other people, and everything is going to accelerate. That's the point of leaping. Leaping is different than jumping, because leaping is an acceleration. And so when you put yourself on purpose in the right rooms, it starts to rewire you. And if you're like, they'll say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Sometimes you're there because you're there to lead them. You're there to be an example of what can be. But if you're finding yourself, like what Sifu was saying, right, you're like still stuck. It's just because nothing has gone wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just because you have put yourself in rooms where they're not expanding anymore. So the invitation is, maybe CLA is a great fit for you. Maybe it's not. But to find spaces where there is purposeful talk about expansion and doing things and leaving a legacy and talking about generational wealth and generational things, because otherwise you will find yourself smaller. And it will just happen, because that's how we're wired to succeed. Find the spaces where you can organically and naturally rewire, and you'll find leaps and bounds. When I joined CLA, last year was a year of first for me. There were so many first: television show, producing music, publication, like being an MC on a yacht, like all those things came because of relationship. But all those relationships were because they were the same kind of people who are like, let's do bigger. How can we impact more people? And that's really the conversation we're even having in CLA, in these spaces. How many people do we want to impact for 2026? Let's talk numbers. And then from that vision, work backwards. How can we make that happen? Find the rooms, because it's rewiring you. And it's really that simple. God has made it so simple for us. If you don't like where your life is going, get in another room. And that room will help you get to where you want to be. So that's also my plug for Tampa, because I was in the New York experience. And I had a feeling I was going to go, but I had so many other things happening, and sometimes we just have a very full life, and you're like, oh yeah, I feel like I have to go. And I was just like, okay, let me figure out. Literally the day before, I bought the tickets and the airline tickets and the hotel stay and everything. And I sent Sifu a text, I'm coming. I was like, I'm going. I bought the ticket. He's like, oh, that's great. A ticket to what?
A ticket to ride.
I'll see you tomorrow, brother. Sometimes it just falls in the last minute. But I knew I wanted to be in that room of exceptional people, because I'm able to bring what's in me. I help expand them, and they expand me, and now we're all multiplying things together. It's not, you don't have to come. I would.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do come. I would highly recommend that you come. But again, purposely find rooms, and like what Andre was saying, right? This face-to-face, people are craving face-to-face communication. Go on Eventbrite, go on to all these places where you can find spaces to go and talk to people face-to-face, because they need you and you also need them.
And
I think better. Sorry.
The first rule, like if you don't show up, nothing happens, right? So the first rule is show up. I did an event in San Diego, which is 2.5 hours from Los Angeles, but it was raining that day. So it took me 3.5 hours to get there for a 20-minute speech. Like logically, it made no sense, because again, I have to come back, right? 6 hours on the road plus for a 20-minute speech. But my gut, not my head, my head's like, dude, stay home. It could be dangerous. My gut and my heart said, somebody's waiting for you. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, as I walked into space, within 10 minutes, And the connection, the person I was there to meet was in my face, and plus the impact of my little speech and the connection that I made there with the audience. And now I'm going back. So you have to show up, even if it makes no sense. That's my motto.
Sounds like you need to be a speaker at our event in Tampa.
Okay, well, let's talk about it.
and Raquel, what I'm hearing is that you had said to me, I'm trying to get there. Sounds to me like you're now convinced that you're coming to Tampa.
Oh, it's already on my calendar, so I know I'm coming.
Ooh, all right. So here's the thing for anybody who knows Raquel. What an amazing job she did. And yes, Gabby, totally agree. She did a great job as an MC in August when we were on the yacht. But it's whether she's in front of everybody as an MC or she's right next to you, speaking to you. You feel the love from this young lady. You feel the connection right away. And when she was in New York, I mean, listen, people were like, "Oh my God, I can't wait! Raquel's coming! Oh my goodness, it's so great!"
New York.
And then when we went to the city together, how was that? That was like, oof. Besides everything else that we all did together, right? We all ate together, we all hung out together in the lobby and all this, but we went to the meeting after the meeting and all these fun things. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yes. And it's the conversations afterwards, right? Because now we have a shared experience. We got to, talk about the speaking. Jaclyn was phenomenal. And so we got to really bond again, like, right, over a shared experience and then bring all our nuggets of what we got out of it. And, we were having conversations till like 1 and 2 in the morning at both nights. We're like, oh my gosh, I got to go. But, but nobody was, it's just like we were really bonding and sharing and all growing together. And that's the benefit too of you leaving your home, because now you're not distracted by the cares of life. Life is always going to be life, and there's always going to be responsibilities. And it's really easy for us to talk ourselves out of it because we're being under the guise of being responsible. But sometimes the most responsible thing you can do is bet on yourself and go somewhere and sit in a room where people are going to love on you, going to encourage you, going to empower you, going to think about, see your greatness and be like, oh, I know somebody you should be in conversation with. Like, that shouldn't be the end all. Like, I just want to come and do business. But you will grow and expand yourself from it. And because of that, everything, right, in relationships, it's always an inside out work. You expand, you grow, you get empowered, and that just trickles into everything else that you're touching.
Ooh,
yeah.
Preach. Amen. Woo.
Raquel, what you just said, this like quote was coming into my head, and it was, a ship in a harbor is safe, but that's not what ships were built for, right?
Oh,
and so
nice.
we were not meant to stay in our homes. We were meant to be out and roam the land, so to speak, right?
Hunters and gatherers.
Right. Right. But we're supposed to get out there and not just, and we're supposed to experience things too. And as much as we can get from, obviously all the technology, which is fantastic in so many ways, but it is getting out there. It might be getting outside of your comfort zone or getting outside of a boundary, but guess what? You'll see so much happen when we do.
Right. I got to tell you, one of the things that we do at the New York City Mastermind Experience, and we are taking it to Tampa, then we're going to Ireland, then we're going to Chicago, and we're going to Atlanta, and we're going to all different places. It embodies something that we've been talking about. It's not a sales pitch event. Our speakers are not allowed to sell. I mean, they can promote their things a little bit, but if you get on our stage and you're there just to sell, we don't want you.
Yep.
Please go to a different stage. Our stage is about connecting, impacting, and helping somebody elevate. Can I tell you, I've had so many people reach out to me after my event, and they're like, I have gotten so much business from just attending your event. way over six figures have happened because of the last six of the December 6th and 7th. And people have told me this much, that much, this much. Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, it's ridiculous amounts of money that have accumulated because of our event. And I'm not saying come to our event and you're going to be guaranteed money. No, that's not it. It's when you make the right connections. And I'm not talking about one person sold the other person. I'm talking about there were collaborations where people came together and maybe even started a new business venture, because there's entrepreneurs there. Entrepreneurs are looking for what's next. How can we collaborate to make something that is not there? So think about that for a second.
Ooh.
When you say no to coming to New York City Mastermind Experience events.
Back to, if you don't show up, nothing happens. It's a very simple line to remember.
Yes. And I love that, people are just chiming in with us, right? Gabby, I met her for the first time on the boat, right? And Kimberly, I met that time as well. And Lancelot, I met him in Connecticut. And Lancelot is part of the New York City Mastermind Experience. And Emilio has been here with us also, chiming in. And I met Emilio because of the CLA. So connections are important. And Angeline, I met through CLA, and she came to our event, right? So think about the connections that we can make. And Daniel, also known as Danny Z, is going to be our keynote speaker in Tampa. And when you watch Daniel, I just say, load up your phones with extra batteries because it'll blow you away. I'm just saying this. And the one thing, and I know we're going a little over, New York City Mastermind Experience will never be the same, because I get bored of the same. I've been teaching martial arts for over 30 years. I've never taught the same class twice ever. And I've been to other martial arts school studios, and I've seen other kickboxing programs and this, and the students know what's going to happen before it happens. And I'm like, oh my God, I could never be in this place. I could never train that way. I cannot train anyone else to be that way. And I don't have anybody to ever go through the same experience, because every experience should be unique and different. And that's what New York City Mastermind Experience stands for. It's an experience.
Sold.
There you go. So soon this weekend, you're going to see that I'm going to put Raquel's info up there. I'm going to put Andre as a speaker. Raquel, you're welcome to be a speaker. You're a powerful speaker. But you come as you want, right? And we don't force anybody to come in any which way, except the way that they feel most comfortable. By the way, Jaclyn is one of our sponsors.
Nice.
Right? She is one of our amazing sponsors. And so think about this. When you show up to a place, she could have just said, I'm just gonna be there. But she said, no, I want to be there in a bigger way. So if you think that you want to come in a bigger way, you can always have a conversation with Jaclyn. She'll tell you why it was important for her to, because she came the first time, she came as a speaker, but this time she's not only a speaker, she's also a sponsor. Jaclyn, we have like 2 minutes left. Could you share with us why it was important for you to sponsor New York City Mastermind Experience?
Honestly, it was twofold. Number one is to support, because I truly love what you're doing. But for myself and for it seemed a really great way for me to be able to share what we are doing with Missing Link Network, not this business. I mean, I've got a couple different businesses, but and Missing Link Network is all about connections. So it was just a really great way to bring another element of connection to something that I already I'm using the word connection too many times, but connected with. So it was just, not being very wordsmithy. Maybe I haven't had enough of my coffee this morning, but I just knew that the people that are going to be in the room also needed to hear this at a bigger level. And I just wanted to be part of it. And I wanted to be part of supporting the New York City experience in Tampa, because I'm loving what that mastermind experience is doing and bringing for other people. And I wanted to put my name on it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. And it's about also collaborating, right? And
Yep.
when we collaborate, we grow together. So
Yes.
I want to thank each and every one of you. Before we go, I don't want to just leave you guys with a teaser about these incredible people. I want you to connect with them. I want you to connect with Raquel and Andre and Jaclyn. And so what I want to do is I want to give you each 45 seconds to go ahead and tell somebody why it's important for them to connect. Ladies first. I've grown that way. So Raquel, would you mind sharing with us why somebody should connect with you? And your website is going across the bottom.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for inviting me here today. And one of the things I love to do, we do many things, is I love to make people immortal in 5 days or less. I get to have the opportunity to have a very short conversation with you and then translate that into the only evergreen content there is, music. It will outlive us. It connects with people immediately. They know your story. They feel your vibe. And so that's my favorite thing to do of everything that I do. And that's the reason you connect with me. That, and I will encourage you. I will empower you. There's so many different things that I do that are free out there, like my TV show. And I really want to connect with you. I have a lot of resources I would love to sow into your life. So connect with me when you can.
Awesome. Definitely. Your GPS for success.net. Go check it out. And I know, Jaclyn, I said ladies first, but you're my co-host, so you go after Andre.
I will go after Andre. Yes, it's okay.
I feel privileged. Thank you. So so look behind me. This is a picture of my wife and I ballroom dancing.
Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. Brother.
Everything I do, relationships driven. My work now in love relationships is my favorite, even though there's layers. But this is the metaphor that I use to teach the work. Right? Mm-hmm. There's a yin yang here. There's a masculine and feminine here. There's a lead and support of the lead. And my wife is not passive in dancing. My wife is everything backwards in high heels and a dress. And it's not easier. It's different. It's complementary. And that is really what I see the struggle in our modern ways. We got too much equality, 50-50, forgot the formula that is natural, yin yang complementary. So if you're struggling with power struggles in relationship, anybody, understanding this viscerally is magical. So this is why you should get a hold of me. That's my world. Dancing since I was 15 years old. Ooh,
that's awesome.
Yeah. ProjectEquinox.net. Make sure you connect with this young man. Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Jaclyn, you're up, my dear.
Okay, so why should anybody connect? Well, first of all, I have a couple of things. Number one, if you want to be unstoppable and have that unstoppable success, if you've that person who's ever feeling a lack of confidence, or there's that fear inside of you for taking that leap, I'd like to connect with you to help you make that leap. And if you're looking for deeper relationships and connections in person, I'd love to share with you a little bit more about Missing Link Network, because we are growing that, and it's a mastermind approach to networking, but it's in-person networking. So go to my website, it's leaptoyoursuccess.com, and actually just click on the contact button, and then just schedule a one-to-one with me, and we can talk.
Love it. Love it. I'm Sifu Rafael. What can I say? I just love connecting with all of you. But I want to share something with you, something that's been happening for me, and that's to help people in a different way. I call it Command the Vessel. It's a new program that's coming out, and I've been kind of teasing about it a little bit, but it's actually open now. It's open for registration, and then it's going to close. And the reason it's going to close is because if you don't act, you miss the train. So don't miss the train. It's called Command the Vessel. And you can go to it at sifurafael.com/command. And one of the things that I love doing is you're going to get for 365 days, you're going to get a command every day. It's going to be a short command. You either do it or don't do it. You miss a day, move on. Don't sweat it. It happens, and it happens for you, and it will change the way you think about life. Command your vessel, my friends.
Drop the mic.
Thank you. Hey, listen, I want to say thank you to everybody. Marianne Pageant, another one. Raquel, you did something you created Angeline's theme song. So yes, keep doing what you're doing, everybody. And we are going to see you in August, Kimberly. Maybe you should not wait till August and see us in February in Tampa. Just saying. You've heard this. You loved everything you listened to. Tampa's calling. Tampa's calling. All right, everybody. God bless you all. I know we went a little longer, but what can I say? We just had to.
An honor to be with you guys.
Thank you.